Hey YouTube, Questware Gamer here, and I don't know what this video is going to be titled. It is my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'm just going to say a little disclaimer. These are my thoughts. I have wrote down notes. Anything that I say about this game, it is my opinion, and if you're going to comment, just please note, if I say anything that's negative, that you don't like, you're just being a dick. Or butthurt, because I am not going to, like, be like other people and just praise this game, like, all the time. This game has problems, and I'm going to go over them. So, I just want to state right now that I have played the original game. I grew up with the original game. I'm gonna want to go into detail on how I got into it and why it's probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy games of all time. And this is the original game, but this is the remake. This video is going to be talking about the remake. So buckle up. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to try to go into detail. Going to put my thoughts into everything, and sit back and enjoy. Let's get started. Okay. First off, is this game good enough to be recommended to people? Yes. Does it capture the feeling of Final Fantasy VII, the original? Yes. And my opinion is, it is good. There are some aspects that I didn't like about it. Like the NPC and texture popping. This bugged me at first, but the background textures are just not good. I don't know who did the backgrounds on some of the areas, but I just want to say these things are not good. Like, there's walls, there's rocks, there's doors that look like it came from a really good PS2 game or early PS3 graphics. Because there's doors that look like it came from a PS2 game. There's rocks that look like they look like styrofoam, and the physics are like styrofoam. Boxes were actually fun to interact with, actually. Because Cloud has an action to examine stuff. He uses his sword to slash boxes. And for some reason, when I first started playing this game, I was fucking around with boxes. And it was fun for a little while. Then I was doing it with safety cones, and then railings and other stuff, and it was just fun to just start slashing shit. That's all the negatives that I had up to mainly to the Reactor 5. When I got to the chapter to Reactor 5, I had another complaint. Well, there was two complaints, actually. Barrett's leg started to do something. Like, it was like doing a little shimmy in a scene, and I was questioning, why the hell is your leg doing that? Speaking of Barrett, I did not like his voice actor at first. Probably up to after Reactor 5, where Barrett's not in your party anymore, I didn't have to hear this voice for a little while. But his voice, I just didn't think it was a very good voice actor at first. But before the end of the game, I was fine with it. I don't know what was going on with the voice and the voice direction in the game, but his voice actor at first did not suit him at all. Like, when I played the original game, I was trying to figure out what would Barrett sound like to me, and I like to like mix voices together on what would Barrett actually sound like in real life in my head. And I figured that he would sound like a fusion between Mr. T and Randy Savage, the wrestler. Like, oh yeah! Stop it to Slim Jim! Or Mr. T, because he used to do the collect advertising. Like, C-O... No, COLLECT, Save a Buck or Two or Three. That was an ad back in the 90s. Mr. T used to do those ads, and it stuck in my head. And yes, I am ancient. Like, I was born in 1985. Even though I have a baby face with a beard. It's kind of weird looking. Anyway, back to the game. Let's see. Okay. I've already mentioned the Poppin' and some NPCs at the beginning of the game. When you get to the wall market, this is probably like 30 hours into the game. I did every side quest in Wall Market. Now, you do visit Wall Market for a second time, I believe. But I do remember that the first time I did do all the first time through I did all the side quests, but you can't get every treasure in the Wall Market the first time through. But the second time you go through with Barrett, you do get all the rest of the treasure in the game. I mean, in that area, so little teaser. But some of the Wall Market side quests did not work at all. Like, you know where it shows the icon on quest markers? Okay. The part that I'm talking about is when you do give the medicine to that one person in the bathroom. Now, he gives you 2 other medicines to give to 2 other people. Those people did not show on the map. It took me probably maybe 15-20 minutes to find them, because I don't recall the other 2 sick people in the Wall Market. But once you do that, he'll give you, like, the side quest will complete, and he will give them to you. But the quest markers do not show up there. So that's something that Square-Enix should patch, in my opinion. Moving along. A lot of people complain about backtracking in this game. Okay. In an RPG, if I have to backtrack, I do not care. I call it exploring. Because there's items that I missed going back through. And I found them not going back through again. Because I missed them. If you cannot tolerate backtracking in an RPG, backtracking in an RPG, stop playing RPGs. Stupid fucking people who complain about backtracking in an RPG should not be playing RPGs. You're exploring. It's fun. I find it fun. Fuck you. So, I'm saying fuck you to people that complain about backtracking in RPGs, because it doesn't bother me at all. Bah. So annoying. Okay. What chapter is this in? I didn't write the chapter down. I think it was chapter 11 or 12, when you're in the train graveyard. Okay. Out of all the music that's in the game so far, the music in the train graveyard was amazing. The atmosphere was just, oh, I just loved it. And what they did with this section, I love the changes. I absolutely do. The train graveyard gave the game that little oomph of, like, music from survival horror games. Like, I didn't it didn't scare me at all, but I was just anticipating the next jump scare. Like I always wondered what the hell was going on, and I loved it. It the next part needs more of this. I don't know where you're gonna put it in, but I want more of just horror, just the horror vibe in in the next part. The train graveyard was probably one of my favorite parts of the game, and probably one of the later chapters of the game wherein Genova's theme took a horror based creepy factor. I loved it. It made me feel uneasy, and I it oh just trying to explain it just it's just so breathtaking just to hear this horror vibe in Final Fantasy. Okay, let's see. Also in the train graveyard, the crypts need to be tweaked. Now, what are crypts? These are like little critters that ram you repeatedly. They go after the party leader. Like, oh hey, you started a battle with crypts. Let's ram the party leader 10 times without him doing an action. Dead. It's like every time that you switch your character to be a party leader, dead, dead, dead. Like, the crypts AI is so fucking cheap that there was just times that I got into battle and I just spammed magic or I just spammed the hard attack so fast that I was saying fuck you to these things over and over again because I hated them. I did. I really did hate them. Let's see. Also, the Hell Troopers. Heli Troopers. You know where the Sector 7 pillar is, and you have to go up it to not let the pillar fall, even though that the pillar does fall. Okay, these Hell Troopers are also cheap. If Square-Enix hears this, if an enemy is out of my range, I am going to... It's just frustrating when the enemy is out of range because you can't hit the enemy when it's out of range. It's cheap. And yes, I could have just used magic, but there's just times when I just want to kill off a flying enemy with a melee hit. And these things have a kick that just knocks you on your ass. And I don't know, both the crypts and Hell Troopers need to be tweaked because they seem a little bit too unfair. Anyway, that's done with that note. Okay. Chapter 8. When you meet Aerith. It really brought soul to Final Fantasy VII when I heard Cloud and Aerith banter back and forth. It gave... Nostalgia really hit me hard at that point. It's like banter between old friends. It gave the game soul. Like, it really did. And it was just a way for nostalgia. It just brought a smile to me. Like, this game actually has the original soul of Final Fantasy VII. But it's been updated. Again, also in Chapter 8, Aerith's house looks breathtaking. Like, my god. It is so breathtaking to look at her house with all these flowers all over the place. But when I got inside, holy shit, nothing rendered in that house. That house inside looked like shit. Like, I don't know if my PS4 Pro had a problem with rendering the resolution in that house, but nothing looked good in that house. The textures in this house look like backgrounds of it look like really good PS2 games or early PS3 footage. Characters never always look good. The characters always look good, but the backgrounds and objects and things, the CRT TV in that house looked so low res that what I saw outside the house looked breathtaking. It looked like shit when you got into the house. That's just my little complaint about that. Chapter 10. When you're in the sewers. Seemed a little repetitive. Like there's rooms that look like the same like paste and copy like from the area before. And I felt like I was going in circles. I didn't felt like I was moving through the sewers. It felt like a repetitive like background. Like not like low resolution, but it's like copy and paste throughout the whole sewers. And it just seemed kind of repetitive with tunnels give you deja vu and rooms looked the same too. Chapter 10 just felt cheap. Also in Chapter 10 is a little is a little part where you're controlling Tifa and Aerith. And they have to unclog a drain. Tifa repeatedly pumped and pumped and pumped, and Aerith slammed down the lever. If this wasn't fan service, I would say both of them can come to my house and unclog my drain any day. Oh man. And yes, I did wrote that down. And I would just say that was arousing. Okay. Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is Barrett's time to shine. Like, what you can do with Barrett, I want more of. Using the gun to make new blow away predetermined paths that you can go through. Annihilating all the Shinra boxes down that hallway. Getting items after items, Moogle charm after Moogle charm. I hope the part 2 brings more of that. And I don't know why, but I also want to go back through the game using both Barrett and Tifa's interaction with boxes. Why? I do not know. But if Square ever does update the game to allow you to do that, I would want that. Because Barrett just annihilates boxes. Because Cloud uses his sword to interact with boxes. Barrett uses his freaking gun to interact with boxes. I did not try to see what he would do with his melee weapon, since you have 2 in the game. But man, Tifa, just the way to interact boxes or kicking them. Also with Barrett, there's like cookie jar like treasure chest in the game, and Cloud just opens it up like normal. Barrett just kicks one of these damn treasure chests to open it. And that's awesome. I like that. I never thought I would have to interact with opening things with my foot. I never felt like that since Ready Out of Stories. I want more interactions with opening stuff with my foot. And guns. And other things. Okay, this is my last note. And this is chapter 16 and after. And the 3D movie that is played in the Shinra building. That movie looked ridiculously good. Like, it makes me look forward to what the open world is going to look like. Hopefully, it's zones and not like the classic overworld in Final Fantasy VII. But that could go either way, or a mixture of both. That would be neat. Because I don't know when the next the part 2 or the other parts will come when you are in control of the Highwind, but I would also like to see like overworld travel with the airship, because if I can't travel in the airship in the next few parts, people might be pissed, and I would too. But speaking about that movie that's played in the Shinra building, talking about the ancients, this movie looked ridiculous, and there's some cutscenes in there that broke immersion a little bit, and I'm going to say how it broke immersion. And the movie that it showed about the ancients was really good. How it broke immersion was weapon switching. I had a different weapon on Cloud and kept switching back and forth between the Buster Sword and his current sword, and brought me out from the game. It just broke immersion for me, and it did that a few more times before the game ended, because there's only 18 chapters throughout the game. And when weapon switches throughout movies, it just, I don't know, just breaks immersion. Now, the Mortal Bowl boss fight. That was a fun boss. If there's other parts in the other parts coming after this, after the first part, has any more like highway chases, or like just on the overworld map, I would want more of those boss battles. The Mortal Bowl boss fight on the highway is fun as hell. I loved it. And the fight between the Whisperers and the party, epic. The Sephiroth battle at the end of the game, it was good. And the ending part of the game. Okay, at first, I don't like it, because I beat the game, I think, early Saturday morning. And it's, like 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, a week later. So, I'm just going to say it took me a while to do this, but at the same time, I didn't like the end part of the game. I thought it was garbage at first, then I decided I hated it, and now I'm just going to say, Square, if you're going to go this route with convoluted stuff and timelines, I'm going to say, please keep it simple and to the point, and not be better. I don't know how to word it exactly, but these are just my thoughts on the game. And yes, I would recommend this game to anyone, and yes, I did go into spoilers. I'm sorry. The game's been out for a week, and if you didn't like me going into spoilers, I'm sorry, but this is just my thoughts on the game. And this is Quest Gamer signing out. Have a good one, people.